Happening now, this year's mild winter weather has forced the closure of a popular Chautauqua County ski resort, and our county is starting to get a reputation as a football powerhouse. We hear from two local icons. Plus, today marks 1 year since the Ukrainian-Russian war started. A look back at our area's connection to the conflict.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, the city of Jamestown is receiving a $1 million financial boost to address housing availability and affordability. Congressman Nick Langworthy announced this week that municipality will receive $1.5 million from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Langworthy said in a statement the funding will address housing availability and affordability, which continues to be a pressing issue for many in the Western New York area. Jamestown has participated in programs like this in the past, taking advantage of the Community Development Block Grant. In addition to that initiative, HUD also offers a Home Investment Partnership and Energy Solution Grant as well. It's not just Jamestown receiving federal funding. In total, over $8 million was awarded to various counties, towns, and cities across the congressman's 23rd congressional district. Well, scammers appear to be posing as law enforcement in Cattaraugus County. The Cattaraugus County Sheriff's Office issued a warning about a new phone scam on Thursday. Over the past few days, deputies say a number of residents have received calls from someone claiming to be an employee of the sheriff's office. The caller is directing people to send them money electronically or the person would face federal criminal charges. In one of these specific incidences, the callee was informed they failed to provide a DNA sample and were ordered to send the sample with a cash fee. The law enforcement agency says this is clearly a scam and advises the public not to give out any personal info over the phone or send electronic funds to a stranger. Well, Chautauqua County is starting to get a reputation as a football powerhouse, with 3 locals contributing at all levels of the sport. Our Bronson Rasmussen joins us live in the newsroom with more on these football icons. Bronson?
Justin, from the NFL to levels to those fostering young athletes in high school, the sport appears to be generational for some in the Jamestown community. Not everyone makes it to the National Football League, but for Kansas City Chiefs recruiting scout David Hinson, many young athletes do dream about it.
It's been great, like coming from Jamestown, playing at Jamestown High School, playing football, running track, then going to play at the University of Buffalo, and that leading into a job with the Buffalo Bills in their personnel department, and then, 23 years later in the NFL, winning my second Super Bowl ring.
While Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni made headlines during the Super Bowl, his sibling, Jay, has an impressive sports resume too, coaching football in the Jamestown area.
I'm proud for my family. It all started with my dad. The family business is what I guess they're calling it now. That's what our family business is coaching. But I'm only here because of being around great people, being around great coaches.
These hometown stars have had humble beginnings.
What I'm proud of with Nick is he remembers where he's from. Being from this area, he's proud of this area, and he went from playing sports, youth sports here, to all the way, on a national, international stage. So anybody can do it.
At the end of the day, the Chautauqua County connection is something these two hope inspire our next generation.
If it's sports, if it's music, if it's acting, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can be whatever you want to be.
Now, both Sirianni and Hinson were honored at the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame's 41st annual induction banquet this week, along with 11 others who made an impact on our area's athletic community. Reporting live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much. Pretty cool connection there. Well, it's been an unusually warm winter, largely mild, with several severe fluctuations in temperatures. Just this week, in fact, we've seen almost 7 days between 50 and 30 degrees. Well, for farmers, that's a troubling trend, and the possibility that spring might be coming too soon. Tim Birch can't catch a break. Instead of pruning apple trees, the Northeast Pennsylvania farmer spent much of the day Wednesday cutting up a beloved maple tree that fell victim to the snow and freezing rain. But that's not the only tree in jeopardy here. His orchard, they're stuck in limbo. Because it's been so warm, fruit trees are weeks ahead of schedule. And if that keeps up, a cold March could kill this year's crop.
Having the buds start to move, makes me very nervous. You wonder if you're going to have any crops at all. But saying that, we still have March and April to go through. Hopefully we can salvage a little bit of winter and prolong spring from happening before Easter. And we live in the Northeast here, and with only 40 inches of snow, it's unheard of. And we just wonder what next month's going to bring forth and the rest of the growing season.
So while most people hope for an early spring, farmers, they're praying for cold, looking to delay growth for a few weeks. But as he waits and worries and cleans, Birch says he remains optimistic. A Chautauqua County ski resort, they're closing down operations for the remainder of the winter season. Cockaigne announcing the news Thursday, saying that they've been very challenging this year due to the mild temps and lack of snowfall too. In the town of Cherry Creek, only around 35 to 37 inches of snow has been recorded, with only a few periods where the temperatures provided opportunities to make snow. Combine that with the recent rains we had this week, conditions on the resort's hills, well, they're less than favorable. Due to the varying weather conditions, management decided to close the entire resort for the rest of the season. It certainly seems just kind of crazy to think about these ups and downs and the impacts that they're having on so many. Chief Weather Forecaster Andrew Stevenson joining us now as we take a look at that weather. We're talking about the worry of the springtime feel, but you look outside the window, Andrew, it seems kind of crazy, like it's snowing pretty good there in Randolph today.
A few minutes ago, it looked like a winter weather laying over Randolph out there, and we go over to First Defense Doppler radar, and we got some light lake effect snow showers across the region. Yep, there we go. First Defense Doppler radar shows those light lake effect snow showers across the region. Colder air filtered in across the region last night, and that's why we got these snow showers across the region. Those snow showers will continue through the afternoon tonight and heading in, or through the afternoon and then heading into the night. The high yesterday, I think the high yesterday was 53 degrees, the low was 28. The records for today, 66 was the record high set back in 1906 and the record low of -24 set back in 2015. So for the rest of the afternoon out there, we'll have occasional snow showers through the afternoon today. We'll also have a couple peaks of sunshine at time. It will be a chilly day out there. Temperatures today only in the low to mid 20s, and with the wind out there, northwest of 10 to 20 miles per hour, wind chills are going to be in the lower single digits to lower teens. So it's going to be a chilly day out there, but we rebound back into the 30s heading into the weekend. I'll have those full forecast details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, thank you. As we continue, a look at the proposals to strengthen veteran services here in New York State. And later, we're breaking down the National Transportation Safety Board's preliminary report on the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWias Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWias Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWias Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
In her budget this year, Governor Kathy Hochul proposes over $7 million for the Dwyer Veteran Peer-to-Peer Program statewide. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein speaks to veterans and lawmakers about the impact the funding could have.
When a veteran leaves their service and returns to the civilian world, it can be challenging to reconnect with the community. Michael Madaw, peer veteran and director of veteran services for Tioga County, says the Dwyer Veteran Peer-to-Peer Services Program, a non-clinical support model by veterans to veterans struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, suicidal ideations, and other mental health challenges, gives veterans opportunities to make connections.
So many of our veterans think that nobody understands what they're going through, but they don't realize there's a whole lot of veterans out there that have experienced just what they've experienced, and they're not alone in this fight. They have a battle buddy there.
Other veterans say the rehabilitative opportunities ranging from community dinners to art classes, bowling, and even beekeeping can be life-saving. For Dan Arnold, getting involved and working with veterans through the Dwyer Peer program turned his life around.
So when I got back here, I felt lost. I was going job to job. I had some anger issues. I was drinking. Things weren't good. My family life wasn't good. So I needed to make a change, and I didn't know what to do.
Arnold says since he found this job, it's given him a sense of fulfillment.
And it turned my quality of life around, and I swear by this program.
Governor Hochul proposes $7.7 million in her budget for the Dwyer program, and some lawmakers feel this is not enough.
Budgeting is about priorities. And if we're not addressing our priorities and our most vulnerable, when you think of our veterans who already sacrificed so much for us, for our freedom to protect us, and these peer-to-peer services are absolutely critical.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
Legislation to provide a 2-year window for victims of childhood sexual abuse received its second consideration Thursday in the Pennsylvania House. There are 2 bills that offer a parallel path for the 2-year window. One is through a constitutional change. The other is a statutory bill. Both would allow victims to file civil lawsuits against their abusers and institutions that covered the abuse outside of the statute of limitations. The 2 bills are expected to receive a third and final vote on Friday. If they pass, they will head to the Senate for consideration. Well, the U.S. is vowing long-term support to Ukraine as the world marks 1 year since Russia invaded. The Defense Department announced a $2 billion aid package today. It includes more rounds of rocket launchers, artillery, ammunition, as well as drone and counter-drone equipment. The Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, says the U.S. will stand by Ukraine as long as it takes. He called Russia's invasion the most urgent danger to Europe's security since the end of World War II. Well, the flashpoint of the highly toxic train derailment in Ohio is centering on a burning wheel bearing, but not the actions of the crew. That's in the National Transportation Safety Board's preliminary report out Thursday. This is the Transportation Secretary toured the contaminated town, calling the Safety Board's initial findings key to better protections in the future. However, the state's lieutenant governor eyeing something else, possible criminal charges. Laura Uggier reports.
We have no evidence that the crew did anything wrong.
The NTSB releasing their preliminary report on the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio.
There's also no evidence of track defects. The engineer at the time was following another train and was already in dynamic braking to slow behind the train.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, also in Ohio, getting a first-hand look at the cleanup underway.
How long is it going to take?
You'd have to ask the railroad.
We will not wait for that process to run its course, to continue doing everything that we can to raise the bar on rail safety.
The NTSB says while there's no evidence the crew did anything wrong, the train's failed wheel bearing will be key to their investigation.
That information could be the basis for a criminal referral, and I would encourage our Ohio team to take a look at that.
Having these factual findings is an important step toward being able to move on to the phase of policymaking.
The rail company says it's already committed $7 million to clean up.
We're going to be here today. We're going to be here 5 years from now. That's my commitment to this community.
Know that the NTSB has one goal, and that is safety and ensuring that this never happens again.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Coming up, we meet a new furry friend up for adoption at the Humane Society. And later, on the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, our Washington, D.C. correspondent with a special report taking a look back at her travels to the war-torn country and our local connection.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716, all proceeds raised to benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
8% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back. Occurring downtown Jamestown, we got some snow showers out there. The current temperature is 21 degrees with a north wind of 15 miles per hour, and that's making it feel like 7 degrees out there. So it is chilly out there. We do have some snow showers out there, but we're talking about the lack of snow we've had so far this season. So far, the snowfall total should be at 77.9 inches of snow, but we're only at 37.8 inches from October 1st to the date so far. That's a difference of 40 inches of snow below average, but that is not a record. The record low for snowfall actually was from 1948 to 1949, where we only saw 27.8 inches of snow for the season. So we're just about 10 inches above the record low. The record high for snowfall for a season was 1976 to 1977, where we saw about 141.8 inches of snow. And we're not going to get much snow anytime soon. As the NOAA 8 to 14 day temperature outlook favors above average temperatures across. NOAA 8 to 14 day temperature outlook favors above average, slightly above average temperatures across the Northeast and the Great Lakes. Here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. Colder air filtered in across the region last night, and that's given us light lake effect snow showers streaming off the lakes through the rest of the afternoon. So let's type it out on Future Scan what we have for the next 24-48 hours. For the rest of the afternoon out there, we got cloudy skies with some light snow showers through the afternoon. Future Scan isn't really picking up on the snow showers, but we'll have some light snow showers through the afternoon and into the overnight hours of tonight. Snow showers will taper off through the night tonight, and then we'll have another small system move through early tomorrow morning that could bring a few snow showers, maybe a few rain showers through the early morning hours. And then we head in through the rest of the afternoon tomorrow. Cloudy skies, maybe some partial clearing, but we will get into more sunshine headed into Sunday with partly sunny skies. So let's time it out for the weekend, what your weekend looks like. Tomorrow, temperatures in the low to mid 30s. Early rain, snow showers should give away to mostly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies over overnight Saturday with lows in the lower 20s, and then on Sunday, partly to mostly sunny skies. Temperatures should reach the 40-degree mark on Sunday. And now, the next 7 days from Ultimate Satellite Solutions. As we head into Monday, that's our next system that will bring in some rain and snow showers into the region Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures Monday and Tuesday in the mid to upper 30s. And then Wednesday, we dry it out with partly sunny skies, temperatures in the lower 40s, and then bringing in another chance of rain by Thursday of next week.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Well, now it's time for my favorite segment, the Pet of the Week. Joining us live in studio today is Brian Papalea, and you brought another sweet puppy in.
Yeah, we have Violet. Violet's about 2 months old. Here, come on up. You want to be a star? And she actually was just made yesterday.
Oh, okay.
She's up for adoption. She, if people may remember from last week, she's got a lot lower energy.
Yeah.
A little more low key than my friend Samson. But the reason I bring it up is I was very excited because Samson got adopted on Saturday.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, the very next day. So.
Awesome. And, you know, there's a pet, I think, for every home.
Mm-hmm.
Every home. And when you look at somebody like Violet, where, you know, you talked with Bronson about this last week, they're so inspirational. And you can mold them, you can train them, and I imagine that's probably easier as a puppy than as a dog.
I would imagine. I don't have a ton of dog experience, but I know you can do it with, there are a number of people locally that will help you train your dog regardless of age. And also, our behavior staff at the shelter are good. You know, they're really good for ideas and things if you're working. But yeah, I think a lot of it, when you have a puppy, especially this young, comes to enrichment, to make sure you're keeping them thinking and active and busy, just like a child. You know, when it's time for bed, it's time for bed, all that kind of stuff. I know people that have worked with their puppies and now they're older dogs, and the dogs actually tell them when it's time to go to bed.
Oh yeah. So I can't have pets at my apartment, but I'm actually house sitting this week. 2 dogs, and they tell us when it's time to go to bed and when it's time to wake up too. Yeah. Which is great, and go outside and play. It's just so awesome. And Violet, she's so adorable. And you mentioned like she's got that puppy energy, but she also, on the flip side of it, once you're done playing, you can get snuggles like this.
Yeah, we had her in the community room at the shelter. That's where my desk is, and we were playing with her and kind of holding her for about a half hour before we came. And she was a little nervous on the car ride, but I wonder if it was maybe, I guess she's had maybe 2 or 3 car rides in her young life so far, so it's pretty new to her. But no, she's a fantastic little dog.
She is. And I'm sure with being so young, she doesn't necessarily have experiences, so she could be introduced into another dog household.
Yeah, and that's, a lot of that will depend on how someone's dog may react on the other side of that meeting. But that's something that we always do to make sure everybody is going to be safe and happy and all of that. And it's actually a pretty decent, thorough process, not super invasive, but just enough to make sure everybody's going to get along and be happy.
Absolutely, and she's so adorable. She's got those puppy dog eyes, which you just can't.
Yeah. And I will say that she has, I think there are still 8 or 9 siblings that are also, because she came from a litter of 11 puppies.
Oh, wow.
And they're just coming out of foster now. There are, I believe, if not all 8 or 9, because 2 of them had already been adopted, but I believe 8 or 9 are still available at this point.
So if Violet gets adopted too quickly for you, she's got some friends.
She's got some siblings that are ready to go too. So yeah, we encourage everybody to go to the website, chqhumane.org, or to, stop by the shelter. And when I do that, doing way better than Samson did with it. But yeah, I think people are going to want to meet her.
They are. And once you hold them, sometimes that's the key. I'd love to.
Yeah. There you go.
Come on over, girl. I know you're probably like, so yeah, if you want to learn more about our friend Violet here, oh gosh, I would love to adopt. See it instantly. As Brian mentioned, chqhumane.org is the place to go. Yeah, Alyssa, we had a cat adoption live right here. I mean, it was so cute. But
she interviewed me for the Pennies Repository the other day, and Ben was right there with her.
Yeah,
it's great to see. We love to see friends how they are living.
Right. I would take you home, but I cannot. Nevertheless, get chqhumane.org. Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks, Justin.
Well, coming up next, today marks 1 year since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent with a special report after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716, all proceeds raised benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, Channel 716.
Soon after Russian troops entered into Ukraine, we were the only local American television station to send local journalists to cover the crisis, and we saw firsthand the hardships many of these refugees had to endure. In March 2022, just weeks after the Russians invaded, the Medica border crossing, one of the few crossings from Ukraine into Poland, was filled with volunteers from all over the world. At that border, we saw many Ukrainian refugees, mostly women and children, take their first few steps into Poland.
It took us 2 days to go from Kharkiv Oblast to Lviv, but everyone is very friendly and we're grateful for that.
Most of the refugees we saw only had a backpack or a suitcase, carrying as little as possible for the long journey into Poland. The crossing was crammed, but filled with people who have good intentions. But the help didn't end at the border. In Warsaw, we saw the soccer stadium transform into a place where refugees can help get settled in a country that is not their own. As you can see right behind me, there's a long line of Ukrainian refugees, and what they're doing here is they're waiting to get their Polish ID number, which would help them basically get any medical assistance as well as some cash while they're staying here in Poland. Animal shelters also took in people's pets while families looked for a place to stay. Refugees filled train stations, giving them free rides to cities in and out of Poland. Many refugees fled to Poland and other neighboring countries without knowing anyone there. But we met people who took in refugees into their homes, turning strangers into family. We saw an overwhelming amount of goodwill in Poland. But during our reporting, we also stumbled upon people from our local communities doing their part. People from Cockaigne, New York, helping refugees at the border.
We're doing good work here, for the sake of humanity,
And Erie's Logistics Plus, making arrangements to deliver humanitarian aid.
It just makes us want to redouble our efforts and collect more, gather more, raise more, to be able to send it to the people here so that they can help the people from Ukraine.
And Chautauqua County, New York, putting her life on the line, driving into Ukraine to deliver medical supplies and military vests.
Intentionally, none of this is intentional. It's kind of there's this God thing kind of floating above that makes us all come together, in my opinion.
After waiting for hours at the Poland border, we made our way to the western city of Lviv, Ukraine. Our arrival was just hours after a Russian missile strike that targeted energy infrastructure sites. It was apparent Russia was using winter as a weapon.
When electricity doesn't work, we don't have our broadband, and we just nothing can connect us with their inner world. And I don't know how my parents and how my friends are, and I just need to make some guesses that everything is okay because I cannot call them and I cannot contact them.
We saw people in Lviv try to live as normal of a life as possible by playing in the snow, running errands, and going to restaurants, if they are open. The strikes on energy sites kept most of the city in the dark, unless the store had a generator, which was a rare sight. Ukrainians had to adapt working, living, and eating in the dark. Although the Russians never stepped foot in Lviv, it doesn't mean it's safe.
Небезпека з неба є постійно.
Well, the danger is huge, and from the sky, I saw six times during this period of time minimum the missiles in the sky.
Across town, we saw people prepare for these attacks by stacking sandbags by windows and statues.
The sandbags to protect the windows from the bombing, because at the beginning of the war, when there were fast rocket attacks on Lviv, also people were very afraid.
Air alarm systems would notify people of an incoming missile attack, making people race for shelter underground where they could sometimes be forced to stay for hours during an attack. We were lucky we didn't experience that when we were in Ukraine. But what we did experience was seeing strangers helping strangers. We met with people making humanitarian runs into Ukraine and prepare meals for the soldiers on the front lines. The people who are still in Ukraine say this is their home and they don't want to leave. But those who are leaving, they have to deal with long traffic lines to get to Poland, forcing many to wait anywhere from 6 to 24 hours at a time. We also crossed through the same border crossing we visited back in March, looking completely different than what it did at the beginning of the war. And for many who left Ukraine early on, are most likely living with strangers in a foreign land.
The fact that there are other people from your homeland is very helpful.
For this group in the south of England, they frequently meet up to keep a sense of community. One thing we did hear often while we were in Ukraine, people asking us
that Ukraine now is a shield for the security of the whole world, and that's all what we ask for is support, and don't forget about Ukraine.
The people that we've met have made a huge impact on us. They've really opened up and shared their experiences from the war. But sadly, a year after Russia's invasion, the war continues. And so we too will continue our coverage on this war until Russia leaves, and maybe even after that to share the destruction it's left behind. In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.